Okay. Can you see your chart here?
Yeah.
Great. All right. So I always start with the same question, which is, can you tell me a bit about what's going on in your life currently?
Currently, it's a big phase of transition. I am training to be a shaman. I'm in an apprenticeship. My son is 5 and he just started TK, so I've been homeschooling him. So he's been with me. Um, so it's like a transition into going back into focusing on my work and my business and my life outside of being a mom. Um, and then building a support system because I don't have a village. And so trying to build that because how can I kind of do all of the things that I want without having the support in place? And then I've just had some like health issues. So just trying to get all of that kind of stuff in balance and just kind of feeling better and more energetic and back to how things were pre-child.
You said your child's 5
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have the village ever or just recently?
Ever. I mean, he was born during COVID, the pandemic, so everything was shut down. So I had him in isolation, but everything just kind of, with that shutdown, everyone just kind of went on with their lives outside of that. And so, like the places that I taught, because I was a yoga teacher, they all shut down. So there wasn't anything to kind of come back to. And my family isn't really super present, nor is my husband's family super present. So I've been rebuilding slowly, like friendships and stuff. But yeah,
Okay. But you are with your husband still.
yes,
Okay. And you're homeschooling, you said.
I was homeschooling. Now I'm part homeschooling. He's in a it's a hybrid program. So he goes to school for 3 days and then he's with me the other two.
Mm-hmm. Which is different from before. And
Yeah.
I guess you what so okay. Can you say a bit more about that?
About what? Homeschooling him or how it's different?
Yeah, how it's different. Yeah.
Well, now he's in school 3 days a week. So now I have those 3 days that I have to focus on my business or things that I need to get done for myself, even doctor's appointments and things like that, that were a struggle because who's going to watch the child if I have to go to the doctor? Type of a thing. My husband travels a lot for work. So when he's here, he's very hands-on, but like right now he's on a plane to Sweden. So
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you said you're training to be a shaman.
yeah.
So what does that mean? Or yeah, what does that mean?
Well, currently I'm in an apprenticeship, so it takes a while. Like a shaman isn't like a overnight or weekend course. It takes kind of years to become a shaman. So I started last year. So now I've been doing it for about a year and a half. And so that is tapping into a lot more of my intuition and spiritual gifts, channeling, talking to the elements, interacting more with nature and the moon and spirit guides, people who have passed that come and give me messages, has been kind of what's been happening with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what is the work itself? Like in the apprenticeship, what are some of the things you might do?
We were working on strengthening my clairs, like my clairaudience and my clairvoyance. So helping me to build confidence in those and notice when that's happening, and trusting the messages that I'm receiving, learning how to go into the Akashic records, learning how to do portal work, things of that nature.
Okay, it's all over your chart, so I'm going to try. to make it as simple as possible. It's always very important for me. Let's start like this. I would say that for me, one of the biggest things in the shaman work you're doing is your Sun-Neptune conjunction in the 10th. Connecting with spirits and entities and opening portals and working with things that are beyond the veil, things that are intangible. So all of that for me is very like Sun Neptune. And in that, by the way, because there's Mars as well, I was thinking about your husband that is traveling for work very often. So now he's going to Sweden, for example. It's really far away from LA. How often is he traveling?
Well, it's seasonal, so he's a session guitarist, so he travels a lot during the summer mainly,
Oh,
during winter, and then it starts getting busier during spring. But basically, like once all the festivals happen and stuff like that, he's gone.
okay. Here I see so this grand trine between the moon, Jupiter, and Mercury is also for me in everything that you've been talking about so far. So being a session guitarist, obviously you're an entertainer. So there we start to see the Jupiter in Leo together with Mercury, right? Because Mercury is the one to play the guitar. And Aries is the seasonality, right? Sometimes he's going, sometimes he's there. There's a lot of movement in that. And you said especially that it's around festivals, right?
Well, that when the festival and concert season picks up is when most people don't tour and do a lot of concerts during winter. It's usually during summer once it gets hot, and then there's a lot of festivals and a lot of shows and all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm. Okay, and when he's at home, does he also play frequently?
yeah,
So there's music around oftentimes.
yeah.
Are you a dancer or like a singer or like an entertainer yourself, like a musician?
No. I mean, I play the singing bowls, and my shamanic drum. That's kind of my yeah.
The
But I love
singing bowls
music.
and yeah, okay. Can you give me more of like a so how often what is the household like? Does he play a lot? Do you guys go out and do stuff together?
Yeah, he plays a lot. I mean, he has a lot of times he has a studio here, so a lot of times when he's home, he'll be recording in the studio. Um, we go out a lot, and sometimes when we can, we travel with him. Like we just went with him to Napa because he played Bottle Rock as a big festival, so we went with him to the festival. Um, and then we just went to Vegas because he's friends with a band that's playing out there, and we went to go see them. Um,
Okay, so it's not like you sit at home and have a very calm and quiet life, boring. There's things happening. You go to fun events, there's music, there's people. Am I
it
understanding correctly?
It ebbs and flows between being boring and being interesting because there's a lot of times where it's just me and it's just the groceries and the dishes and the laundry and but
Uh-huh.
when he comes and we go and we do things, right?
Okay. So this part about you guys traveling to different festivals and concerts, that for me is this grand trine. And especially notice that your moon is at 846 and your Jupiter is also at 846, so the trine between them is exact. And this for me is that he's playing a lot, right? Because that's Leo, the entertainment. When you see it like this and you tell the story, does it make sense to you automatically?
No, because I don't understand like all of the symbols and the things of what they mean. So
Okay.
I'm not super familiar with like if I look at a chart, like, oh, that's Leo. I have to like actually like look at the signs.
Okay, so Aries, first of all, is like men having guys around. but also lots of energy, lots of movement. And so when you go different places and you're doing things, that's Aries. Or if you're very busy with the kid and you like to do lots of activities and go out and just not be at home only, that's Aries. Or when even there's a lot expected from you and you have to put forth a lot of energy and sometimes it reaches like a point of, well, that's too much, which I can see that being the case for you because it's a lot of fire. So I feel like it's nonstop energy required from you.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
feel like your kid also, therefore, would be very active.
He
I don't
is.
feel like it's a quiet, kind of reserved child at all.
No.
So I feel like a lot of yelling and kind of running around and wanting to try different things, being very open, taking more risks. Yeah, you might be running after the kid. That's kind of the image I'm getting.
He's very active and yeah,
Can
adventurous.
you
He does do a good job of risk assessment and knows like if things aren't safe and he'll be a little trepidatious or not want to do them if he feels like it's unsafe. But yeah, very active, very, very loud, very happy.
What are some of the main things that he likes to do?
Um, Plays outside. He just likes to be kind of anything that's almost chaos. Like he loves to just be loud. Like, if he builds blocks, it's like his favorite part is knocking them down. It's kind of like the making of the mess. He likes to just run and yeah.
Right, so Aries is the one to knock things down. And Leo's the one to be loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give a few more examples?
Um, he loves to sing and just be silly and laugh. Um, yeah, he loves to go hiking. Very, very curious, asks so many questions. And I know they all do that, but he's very curious. They're questions with a point, they're not just like random. Um, And then he's very, very sweet and empathetic and thoughtful and extremely observant. And his memory is impeccable. Like he remembers things from when he was 2. He'll remember a shirt that he wore, a place that he went randomly.
Mhm. I feel like he's also kind of special. I don't mean that like having a disability, but having more capacity for things, being more intelligent, being more higher level processing.
Yeah, definitely.
So he might be very skilled in something. Maybe you're already finding that.
And so far, it's just almost the way he's his comprehension.
Hmm. Is there a particular subject that he's very
No, because he's in TK, so it's not so much, but
yeah.
it's his understanding of concepts and things and him being able to put stuff together and understand it and understand how things work. And it's like you can explain something to him and why it's not safe, and then he understands that, and it doesn't have to be explained again because he understands the concept and he's been like that for a very young age. It's like, don't touch the stove is hot, it's going to burn you. So he doesn't touch the stove because the stove is hot and he doesn't want the burn. Like it doesn't have to. He just picks that up. Or other kids have to test it and try it. He understands the concepts.
Okay. You know, the moon has to do with your journey as a parent. So it represents your child. And in your case, the moon makes the exact trine to Jupiter. Jupiter is genius, brilliance, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, higher order processing. And also they touch Mercury, which has a kind of similar energy to Jupiter, but it's more about understanding information at the most basic level, right? Like speech, play. explaining things, words, right? So having that grand trine between them means it's like all three are working together constantly. All right, so when you think about all the things you described about him and also his nature, right, that he's very kind of excited and laughing and joyful, right? All the fire, the triple fire. Does that make sense to you?
Oh yeah.
There was another part. I'm hearing your Saturn pretty often in what you're describing on a couple levels. One of them, because it's Virgo. Virgo is more like practical everyday logic, right? Because it's an earth sign and it's Mercury. So being able to explain things to him and he understands them quickly, I'm feeling the Saturn in Virgo. But the other part you said that when your husband is gone, part of the time like you're having fun, sometimes you're traveling, but another part of it is that you just have to deal with like the everyday necessities, like doing the dishes, doing the laundry, yeah, taking care of the house,
Yeah.
right? Which is also Virgo, practical affairs of everyday life. And Saturn is, like a very stifling force, something that you can't escape, something that's very uncomfortable, but it is what it is. It makes me think also about how you don't have a village, like you don't have friends. So you don't have people that you can ask for help, I guess, too often. That's what I understood. Is that right?
I have friends, but it's more like they hang out with me when it's like they're not here to help me with my kid or to hang out with me and my kid. So it's yeah.
Mm-hmm. So does that frustrate you?
Yeah, I mean it's not so much frustrating as it is just more isolating, right? Because I'd like to have more interaction with them and I'd like to have them in my life more.
Your friends, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. And why can't you have more interaction, have them in your life more?
It's difficult with the kid and not everyone wants to hang out with the kid.
Uh-huh. Because the kid requires a lot of attention. They have a lot of, it's not like you can sit down and just have that one-on-one chat.
Yeah, I mean everyone who meets him absolutely loves him and they love spending time with him, but I think that, you're either a person who wants to be around kids or you're a person that doesn't really want to always be around kids, and that's to each their own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that kind of changed for you after you had a kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so do you feel like you're prevented from really having friendship? Do you feel like you miss like having girlfriends, for example?
Yeah, for sure. So I can't do things like at the drop of the hat or whatever. It's like if I can even find coverage, right? So I definitely miss out on a lot.
Okay, I'm feeling your Saturn in the seventh pretty strong. Not being able to hang out with people, not having someone you can call on to come help, having to miss out on friendship, even though you don't want to, you would like to, but right, you have responsibilities that prevent that. It makes me wonder if before you had a child, you were also like very active, fun girl, kind of love to go different places, travel, do events.
Yeah, very active. Loved to do just to be out and about and do whatever. Yeah, traveling.
I feel like traveling a lot. I feel that must have been a big part of your life.
I did actually travel more now that my husband's work has called for us to, that he's been going on these longer stints that we can go with him. And it works out that way. But I did go out a lot locally to like shows and events and things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you think about that grand fire trine again, right? The moon in Aries, especially, the need for movement, for excitement, for stimulation, for novelty, for exploration. So, would you go dancing, singing, to the opera?
Dancing, dancing and to concerts and to yoga classes and like events, like wellness events.
Okay.
Workout classes. I liked fun like workout classes like aerial yoga or yeah.
Okay. Are you starting to pick up the fire trine?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a lot of fire in my chart anyway, so
Um, how about the element of fire itself? Do you like to cook?
I do like to cook, although since having like a child and having to be responsible for so many meals all the time, it's kind of lost a lot of its fun. It's not so adventurous and on a whim and kind of playful. It's more like something I have to do. So that kind of um, and then after I do the part that I have to do, I'm not like, oh, I want to try to make bread or make this new recipe because like I'm already, maxed out after the 3 square meals, right? And all the snacks.
Okay. So, there I'm feeling your grand fire trine again because you said on a whim and trying new recipes. And you specifically use the example of bread, right? Which is baking, which is totally fire element using the oven. And then you brought up the Saturn, the snacks and the 3 square meals, the Virgo. Right, having to meet certain requirements because children have certain requirements. There's a level of like boredom and yeah, not fun.
Yeah.
So do you see how those are working together kind of all the time? So there's
Yeah.
that part that loves to wah, and then there's that part that is okay.
I think I fight the Virgo a lot.
I can imagine the now that I'm picturing it, especially because you have emphasized a few times in our conversation like your disposition towards spontaneity. So I feel like you could easily get shut down by practical things in life that you have to accomplish. That's coming up for me.
Yeah.
Like submitting documents, filling out paperwork, going to the tax office.
Yeah. Bane of my existence, and I don't like doing
And you
it.
have to. I feel like that comes up for you. That nevertheless, like there's times where you really it's a lot, I guess sometimes.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because it takes more of my energy to like do that than it does to like do something physical.
Yes. Right? Because here you see you have the physical energy more than I guess everyone else alive. But then there's the Saturn and Virgo, right? The mental things kind of. The planning, the organizing, the paperwork again. Um, were you also the type to kind of burn people? Like you're very quick, you're kind of just responding straight away. You're very natural. That's what I'm getting.
No, actually not. I'm pretty empathetic and I'm the person who usually gets burned.
Okay. Now I'm picking up Venus. You Venus and Scorpio in the eighth house. Being very empathetic.
I'm empathetic. I'm overtly considerate. I'm very loyal. I'm dependable. I'm a giver. And so that has gotten me burned a multitude of times in a multitude of ways.
Can you give an example?
I mean, let me think. Let me think of one that's good. Well, there's a lot. I mean, there's things where it's like, you lend people money and they don't pay you back. The things where, because you're the understanding one, you're the one who always gets the kind of rug kind of pulled out of you. You're the one that they'll be like, oh, sorry, I can't, and they'll flake on you because you're the one who will understand versus the other person that in the dynamic, right? That's happened a lot, where they give me all of the responsibility of things. When you do a group project in school and then no one pulls their weight, but you do it because you want the A and you don't want to fail.
Okay. Okay, your Saturn is coming very strong in the 7th. Because your 7th is your relationship to other people at large, friends, acquaintances, coworkers, anyone that you have more like regular contact with. And so being given the responsibility often, Saturn in the 7th. And specifically that you use the example of the schooling Virgo Mercury and getting the A. You want the A, Virgo. And then I was feeling how, in fact, your sun is square Saturn. I don't have that clear yet, but it's coming up for me. So has that happened to you recently? This kind of interaction? Or
I
maybe
mean,
even with your husband makes me think about him actually, because I'm seeing him as the sun in Sag in the 10th. He's kind of like leaving to go do things. Of course, that's his work. What can he do? But therefore, you don't have his support at home with all the basic stuff that you have to get done.
for sure, but he does try to, help out. Like right now, when my son's about to go on break, so he's putting him in summer camp for 2 weeks, so that'll help me out a bit. So he does do what he can, does what he can. But recently it came up with my mom, who sometimes helped when we were going to Vegas. I had asked her months ago if she could stay with my son so we could go to Vegas for this overnight, just for the show. And then my sister, kids had their graduation in the same morning that she was supposed to be with the overnight. And instead of like her trying to problem solve it on my own, she kind of on her own, she put it on me to kind of figure it out. And she's like, well, I don't know what to do. Your sister's going to be so mad at me. And it's like, you agreed for me months ago to do this. Like, why are you putting it on me to figure out, and the stress of all of it but it's because she's worried about how my sister will feel and she knows that I'll understand and I'll figure it out.
Beautiful. Okay, here I'm feeling the sun in Sag. Because on both levels. One, you're going to Vegas, Sag. Two, your sister kids are having their graduation, Sagittarius. Right? Because you're graduating, you're going to the next level. There's the archer shooting the arrow, right? Sag, education. And then there's the Saturn in Virgo, which is the practical affairs. Well, we organized it like this. You're going to help me with the kids. We talked about it months ago. We organized it like that for this reason. And now she needs to go, but she's going to put it on you to figure it out again. And Virgo also, the sister, right? It's a Mercury sign, but it's female. So in this case, it's the sister that is like the tension between the two of you and both of you having events. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so how did you figure it out? What was your response?
Well, I have a 19-year-old stepson, so I just asked if if he could watch him for a couple hours in the morning. Like he generally does not help, but I did ask for his help in that situation.
Interesting. And his reply?
He said he would do it.
You have a stepson. That's interesting. So I guess that comes from your husband. Your husband was married before.
He wasn't married, but yeah, it was from a previous relationship.
Uh-huh. Does he live with you?
He does, yeah.
Interesting. But you said he doesn't usually help.
Correct.
So you don't feel like he's someone you can ask for help, even though he's around.
Correct.
Interesting. And why not?
Because that's just not what he wants to do.
Uh-huh. So does that ever make you feel kind of alone or okay, well, here's what I would say. I would feel frustrated.
I mean, I definitely feel alone, and that situation was extremely frustrating, especially just the way it was imposed upon me, where it just completely wasn't like my feelings and how can we figure out how to make this work. It's like she's gonna be mad at me. You figure it out. It's like I already did figure it out.
Have you taken that role oftentimes to be the one to figure things out for people?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the role that I get placed in. I'm able to see multiple perspectives at once and put together puzzles and just figure things out. And I also tend to be really calm and really logical. So because of that, people put a lot on me.
So in your dealings with other people, you've gotten used to being kind of in service and
Yeah,
not necessarily getting that in return to any degree that you offer it.
correct.
Okay, do you see your Saturn and Virgo in the seventh in that?
I don't understand how that would be my Saturn and Virgo in the seventh.
Okay, interesting. Um,
Again, I don't know a whole lot of astrology, so I don't know how that intertwines.
yeah, I understand. Um, your seventh house is dealings with other people in general. How you relate to them, how they relate to you, what are the situations that come up? What is the consistent pattern that you experience in friendship and relationship?
Yeah.
And Saturn is dependability, reliability, responsibility, discomfort, having to do things under pressure, thankless. Yeah, just having a hard time in general, often.
Yeah, that all tracks.
And Virgo is about, Virgo is the one that does the logic, who figures things out, who makes the puzzle, who takes care of the practical affairs. Yes, we'll do it like this. We'll go there. No, you can do it like that. Actually makes me think about you being a yoga teacher as well, because in that case, there's people coming to you for kind of understanding how of their body, for example. And so you're teaching them again and again kind of how to work with their body.
Yeah, very much so. I actually specialize in mobility and injury rehab and pain management. So I really get into people's bodies and helping them figure out their
Oh,
puzzle.
yeah, and people come with all kinds of different issues, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, interesting.
I actually do that. I do trauma work too. I do I'm a somatic practitioner, and I do breath work and energy healing. So I deal with a lot of people's coming to me with a lot of stuff, and then me kind of figuring out. I actually just helped somebody, a rocket scientist, with sleep, who couldn't sleep for like 10 years, and then I helped them figure out the pieces of their puzzle so that they could sleep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how do you so what does that process look like?
Um, Talking to them, asking them questions, listening to what they're saying, and then seeing the gaps and the overlaps, and then taking the information that I have and starting to put it together and giving them, asking them more questions based on those things and seeing what they need and what they're lacking, what they've tried.
Okay, so that would be Virgo because again, Virgo, Mercury, Earth, trying to get a very good understanding of something. How is this thing working? What are all of the pieces? And every time it's kind of like it's important. It's not something just by the way. Um, it's real work and you're expected to deliver. Yeah, and that you take your time with each person to really understand them and everything that's going on for them. They come to you, right, with whatever is happening in their body. But the other part of that for me is like the Venus in the eighth Scorpio. The eighth has to do with what's happening inside of other people's lives. It can be financial, it can be emotional, it can be physical. Doesn't really matter, but it's not yours directly. And Scorpio is like cleansing, like going very deep, like understanding the origin, the root, the essence of something.
Yeah.
Right, sitting with people's pain, whatever is happening inside of them that they can't, for example, tell other people very easily, or anyone, in fact, right? Things that they hide in general. Physical pain, emotional pain, secrets, right? And so you would have unprecedented access to that area, and people would easily trust you with that because you have Venus there. In fact, I feel like therefore you enjoy to connect with people on that very intimate level. Comes naturally.
Very much so. People do share things with me that they don't normally share with other people, even like when I'm not working with them. And I do enjoy that depth of knowledge and conversation. And yeah.
It feels also like actually walking people through portals, actually. The portal of life. You know, somebody has come into their life and wow, the portal of death, especially. Yeah, being with people as they lose someone, for example. Being with people as they're transitioning.
Yeah. I've helped people through a lot of transitions for sure.
Discretion comes up.
Hmm.
Trust. Yeah, being trusted very deeply by people. Hmm. This shaman work that you're doing,
Hmm.
how did you get there? How was that an evolution of what you've been doing before?
Well, it's something that I had been kind of wanting to delve into for, it's just been like a calling to me. And I have a friend, and she's a energy healer as well. And so occasionally we'll trade sessions. And when we did a session, she said that my guides were telling me to look into shamanism, and that was something that I had been interested in. So as soon as she said that, there's somebody that I had known, a shaman, and so I reached out to her and asked her about her training. And so then she, gave me some resources and sent me like her teacher to check out. And I really liked their approach and their integrity. And so I started doing it.
When I imagine a shaman, what I imagine is like actually the word curandera comes up.
Mhm.
I hear actually for me, shamanism and music are very closely connected. Part of one of the healing tools is like music, ritual, ceremony, purging. I'm actually reminded of doing like plant medicine ceremonies. Maybe that's where I was introduced to shamanism when I was kind of in that sphere. Maybe this is different.
Yeah, I personally don't use plant medicine, and I'm not looking to use plant medicine. I do use the drum, which will get you into an altered state of consciousness. And I can use the breath to get you into an altered state of consciousness. So I don't need the plant medicine because I have these other tools at my disposal. And I also feel like plant medicine, like I'm part indigenous South American, but I do feel like plant medicine to me feels like it should be reserved for people who like live there and do that and for that culture. I don't think that it's something that's really meant for mass consumption, to respect the lineage, and also that there can be a lot of darkness and shadows that can pull too fast for people, and there's a path for harm if it's just not done really carefully, and with just anybody. So it becomes a lot more dicey. The way I do it is a lot cleaner. It's a lot safer.
Yeah, I totally know what you're talking about. Okay, that makes me think about you being more holding any practice that you engage in very high reverence and holding yourself to a high standard of practice, like needing to really understand the tradition, work with the correct teachers, become genuinely competent in any spiritual realm. For you, it's not just you're fascinated by it, but also you care about the training.
Very much so. Integrity is very important. Reverence is very important. Honoring both the culture and the people that I work with is very important.
Okay, I see you having contact with elders.
I do not in my personal life, but in like my guides and stuff when I journey. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The shaman that I'm working with in my apprenticeship says that I have a relationship with the original ancestors. Um, so just way, way, way back.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it feels like any tradition that you engage with is like so steeped in history that you're kind of, yeah, like you're cautious, you're not really trusting of just all that, you're very discerning. Yeah, that's the word that comes up.
Yeah.
And also careful in the way that you deliver the information. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also what I see is like introducing people to something that is very new for them. And so you have to walk them through. It's almost like having the same conversation again and again with people. having to explain things in a certain way, make them clear, show the steps clearly, assure them. Journeying with people, but also grounding it.
Yeah, I'm very, very grounded in what I do. And actually, it's what a lot of people say. It's like when they meet me or talk to me, it's like you know all of this stuff, but you're the most grounded person that I've met that does this kind of work or that talks about these kinds of things.
Hmm.
And I also just, for me, I understand, again, because I can see multiple perspectives. I understand the language of people and what's going to resonate with them, what's going to make them understand and make it for their use. So I'm not going to talk above them in these esoteric terms that aren't going to help them. That's going to lose them. I'm going to talk in a way that's going to relate to them. So, it's like if I have to make a basketball analogy because they're really into basketball to make it make sense to them, and that's what I'm going to do.
Perfect. Yes, I feel you being very careful with your words.
Yeah.
Also, yes, like interacting with other people, you always have to choose your words.
Yeah. Words have a lot of power and a lot of meaning, and I don't think we should just wield them without thinking about them, especially when it pertains to certain matters, right? You're influencing people. So if you use the wrong words, it can really sway their perspective in a way that's not for their highest good.
Hmm. Okay, I see people coming to you that have had bad experiences with spirituality, with religion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're helping them to kind of come back, maybe from psychosis, maybe from Mhm.
Trauma in general, I think.
Yeah, you're a teacher. I guess that's the big thing. That's what comes up from you.
I really take the approach of empowerment. So I try to teach them so that they don't need to rely on me or anyone else. I try to teach them about their body and about their intuition and about listening to those things, because ultimately you are the expert of yourself.
Mm,
I try to empower people and connect people back to themselves, because we as a whole in society are very disconnected from self.
interesting. Now I'm feeling like because of your work, there's also like a distance that you have from people, like a professional distance. And it is often that your relationship to other people is a working relationship. You're a stabilizing force for them. And you won't get as much from them because you're there to teach them.
They actually give me a lot, but I definitely hold a very good boundary, which I think protects both of us. Because I'll have people who just completely unload on me and they're afterwards like, all right, I'm sorry, that was a lot. Like, how are you feeling? Did I like? And I was like, I don't pick up your energy. Like, I feel it, but I don't like hold on to anything you throw out at me because it's not mine to keep.
Mm. I also feel you being very patient, very understanding. Kind of, there's nothing that would surprise you.
No?
People can just say whatever worst thing they've done, and you can say, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, helping people to bring things up and out and purging feels very important.
Yeah, very much. A lot of purging.
A lot of emotional processing. Yeah, just holding people's hands while they struggle, while they suffer.
Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't scare me. The pain doesn't scare me. Suffering doesn't scare me. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
Did you have anyone in your family who was ill or who passed?
No, no one who passed or was ill. I mean, my family wasn't very stable, but no one was like ill or passed.
Was there anyone in your family who was kind of someone you cared about that was also kind of unloading you? You were there for them a lot.
Oh yeah, my mother.
Yeah.
She just was mentally kind of unstable, and I was parentified a lot, and my sister was very volatile, so I was kind of the one who kind of had to be the mediator and the one who had to hold things together.
Okay, it was hard talking to them.
Oh yeah, because my sister would explode and my mom would get emotional.
Why would your sister explode?
She just gets mad and just doesn't have a tolerance for anything that isn't what she wants to hear or isn't going her way.
Mm-hmm, I see.
Kind of like a kid with a temper tantrum, you know what I mean?
Okay, I see. Okay, so you were the adult, always kind of,
Yeah.
and oftentimes in relationship to your sister, actually. She was kind of a big work for you, a big block in a way. And I don't mean that negatively, by the way, more like matter of fact.
And she took up a lot of space. She took up all the space.
Uh-huh, so it was always about her kind of, well, your sister's like this, well, she wants this. Uh-huh.
And even with things where it'd be like, oh look, I came home with an A, and she'd be like, I've got an A plus. And I was like, what? What?
Uh-huh. Do you have a better relation with her now, or is it still kind of
It's not bad, but it's not great. She was always competitive. I'm not competitive by nature. Um, and so I find that when I'm succeeding or doing anything that's kind of she feels like is better than her, then it bothers her, and she's not
mm,
and also she's not really ready to face like her perception of reality and my perception of reality are two different things, and she's not ready to see things from the level that I'm ready to see things or that I do see things from. um,
mm-hmm,
Everyone has their own level of evolution and their own time to evolve, and so I feel like we more have a relationship because of the fact that we're related and not because we fundamentally click as humans.
mm-hmm. You know, Virgo is the sister, and your sun in Sagittarius in the 10th house is the person who is ascending, the person who's going places, the person who's wise, the person who knows more, is looking from a higher perspective, can go outside themselves. And this is where I see the square between the sun and your Saturn, that the way you are, let's say the higher evolutionary consciousness, just to use words, not really to make a comparison, right? And that is rubbing up constantly against her, essentially. For me, this is also something about like your schooling. Did you go to school?
I did. but we changed. I changed schools 13 different times.
13.
Yeah, my dad didn't pay enough child support, so we just had to keep moving. And then we moved and I'd have to start a new school.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you also didn't really have a chance to develop friendships.
Yeah. Because I would like start to make a friend and then we'd move. Right. And this was before we all had smartphones and Facebook, right? Or Instagram or
And even then, I mean, once you move, you're moved. People kind of grow
totally.
apart. Okay. So do you see that? Your sun and Sag in the 10th, you're always moving. And then the square to Saturn and Virgo prevents you from having friendships with people in the schooling age. You know, Virgo has a lot to do with schooling as well, like primary schooling, because it's Mercury ruled. And even, yeah, so moving 13 times. Makes me think also, however, that you were very smart and doing well in school. That was important for you.
Yeah.
I feel like tutors, maybe you were a tutor helping other people as well with homework and stuff.
I helped other people, but I didn't tutor. Yeah, I didn't tutor, but I helped other people for sure, like my friends or whatnot. But yeah, very, very smart. I learned algebra in 5th grade. Um, so just very, very advanced and knowledge and reading and learning was kind of in a way, an escape for me, but also an empowerment. Because it's like if you know things anywhere you go, you can have a conversation with people because you know about anything, right? So that
Mm,
makes it easy to talk to people. Um,
I see. So you're very well read on different subjects. Also, I'm hearing different languages,
Spanish and French,
but not too well.
not too well. I just didn't have
Yeah.
anybody to practice with, but I'm endlessly fascinated. I'm extremely curious. So, and I just like learning. Like if I could just be a scholar and just learn stuff, that would be so fun for me because I just like learning.
Ye- Yes. And I guess you won awards.
Yeah. And they wanted
And
to
did,
publish stuff I wrote too.
yeah. And I guess they kind of were distributed. Like, yeah, okay. Did you also go to college?
I did for a bit, and I decided it wasn't for me because when I started looking at all the things that I found interesting, I studied psychology. I wanted to be a therapist, but I didn't. The road to get there and the kind of boxes and rules and the way the whole system
Mm,
works didn't appeal to me. I don't like 9 to 5. I didn't like the fact of like it takes you a long time to be able to make actual money as a therapist. So there's a lot of having to pay your school debt. There's a lot of things that you can't do. So it just kind of, when I started looking at it, like logically, I'm like, that's not for me. And I really enjoyed philosophy. That was my other favorite study. But I was like, there's nothing I can do with philosophy besides teach philosophy or write philosophy. So at that point, I was like, I'm just going to save my time and leave so I don't put myself in terrible debt.
uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also see you studying all the different kind of spiritual traditions, Buddhism, Christianity, Judaism, astrology.
Yeah, I did. I studied. I really liked Buddhism and Taoism were probably two of my favorite of all of the religions that I studied. Those ones felt um, the most aligned.
Yeah. because they're so peaceful. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, no, that was kind of it. Yeah. I really enjoyed this.
Okay, there's the word tranquility coming up.
Yeah. I mean, that's like that. Like now, my peak day is in the morning after I drop my son off, and I sit in the yard with my feet in the grass, and I listen to the birds sing, and I drink my coffee while watching the bees pollinate the dandelions and the lemons and whatever. And that is like
Mm,
my peak experience of a day. Like if I can have that every day, it's
the quiet life, the unassuming.
and just kind of connected to these greater things around us that nobody really notices, but they're quite magical if you actually pay attention to them. There's so much richness that we just bypass because we're like, that's not a big deal. But I'm like, actually, it's if you pay attention to it, it's very, very cool.
Hmm.
I also, in my like shamanic work, I work very deeply with the earth portals and with earth spirits and earth energy. So that's very just feels very grounding for me and very much like home.
I'm getting also animals, the presence of animals.
Yeah, animals have always been really attracted to me. Even to ones that people are like they're kind of mean or they don't like anybody. They like me. And as a teenager, I was a reptile specialist. Um,
Oh. Mm.
and I took care of a bunch of pets and actually ended up taking in a lot of pets that people just couldn't take care of. So I had about 30 different pets of different species that I was caring for, or rehabbing, or had adopted in because um, they needed care.
Mm-hmm. And then you rehouse them. You're like the in-between. Yeah, uh-huh. I'm having this image of a lake, maybe, and it's a place where you go. But it feels like the lake is the important part for you. Maybe there's a lot happening around. Makes me think of Lake Tahoe, actually, in California.
I'd love to go to Lake Tahoe. I find I'm very I think like like the where the trees and the water are is like some people like the beach and some people like the trees where the trees and the water meet. That's kind of like the sweet spot for me for sure.
And also, I see like pastures that are kind of. I'm seeing Tuscany.
I was supposed to go to Tuscany last year. We went to Scotland.
Okay, mm-hmm.
It was
It's about having that far sight kind of with the rolling hills. And there's just like the nature, there's no like city life, there's no buildings, it's kind of old, but it's tranquil and it's like that's kind of
Mhm.
the image.
Yeah, yeah, that's completely my vibe for sure.
And mist. Also, I'm seeing like morning mist.
That was a lot like Scotland.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot like Scotland. So much green. So much green. Uh, I did not expect to love Scotland as much as I did when we decided. Because first they were like, "You're going to go to Tuscany," but then it changed to Scotland, and I was a little bummed because I was like, Tuscany seemed really cool. But then I got to Scotland, and I just fell in love. Absolutely fell in love.
Lots of water in Scotland.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a very pure place. My mom also fell in love with it. And lots of nature, lots of forests, moss,
Mm-hmm.
rain. Oh yeah, the rain. I'm feeling the rain. Like after the hot days, then comes the rain. I feel like that's now I'm feeling that kind of pattern for you. There's the hot days and then comes the rain. The rain's a big relief. You love the rain. You love the cooling element.
Cooling element, and then the after it stops, the way everything looks clean and the way it smells and the clarity of the sky.
Clean water is coming up.
Yeah, I love my favorite. Like I live in Los Angeles, but I don't really like our beaches. I'll drive out to the other beaches that are further out because of the clean water. And like I love the Caribbean and Hawaii because yeah, the clear ocean water.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Let's stop here for today. You know, it took me a little while to, because my idea in the first place is to like show people how their chart is working, right? That was kind of what, but then I just realized that everyone's at a different level. And so the first kind of while I was, well, I just figured I need to switch things around. And then it felt much more calm. What do you think? What are you left with kind of?
Well, I just thought it was interesting because like you were looking at my chart, but then seeing how like other people place in my chart. You know, like my husband and my son and my sister, as opposed to like it being solely on me. So that was something different that I didn't anticipate.
Interesting. That's really good feedback. And now that I think of it, many people have that feedback, just not in those words. And it's like, yeah, your chart is everything that is in your reality is in your chart, right? So it's not just you, you're so much more than what is encapsulated in your character. You are all that you witness, right? That's the totality of your experience, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we're tapestries, right? Woven.
Yeah. Yeah, your chart is really it is about your life, but not really just about you. It's all the things that are happening in it. That's really good feedback. I hadn't thought that people would be kind of surprised by that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording and you and I can just talk for a few more minutes. So
Okay.
Dennisse and I are signing out.